There's a 3-digit number that decides whether you can buy a house, rent an apartment, get hired, or what you pay for car insurance. And you didn't vote on how it's calculated. You can't see the formula. And the company that profits off it has raised its price over 1,500% in the last 3 years. Let's talk about credit scores. Fair Isaac Corporation was started in 1956 by two mathematicians, Bill Fair, funny, and Earl Isaac. Before that, your loan got approved or denied by a guy at a bank making a gut call. Credit managers were literally judging whether you seemed organized and responsible. And they could reject you for any reason. Suspected drinking problem, your race, your sex, whether you were married. So Fair and Isaac's pitch was, let's take the bias out and just use math. The first universal FICO score came out in 1989. And by FICO's own admission, the formula hasn't really changed since. Here's the moment that made it unavoidable. 1995, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac said every mortgage application needs a FICO score, period. After that, it wasn't a tool anymore. It was the gate. Now follow the money, because this part's wild. About half of FICO's revenue and most of its profit comes from this one score. But FICO doesn't even sell it to you directly. They license the formula to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And then those three sell it to your lender. So think about that chain. You generate the data just by living your life. The bureaus collect it, FICO scores it. Your lender pays for the number. You're the product, and yet you're the only one in that entire transaction who doesn't get paid. And the price has gone insane. FICO's base price for a tri-merge score was $1.80 in late 2022. Today it's $30. That's a 1,567% jump in 3 years. And get this, a FICO spokesperson actually admitted some lenders are now paying $540 total for that same report, with FICO only getting 30 of it, and said the industry needs greater transparency about where the other $510 is going. So even the guy at the center of this mess is pointing at everyone else, asking where the money's going. You'd think, since this number runs your financial life, you'd at least get to see how it's built. Nope. FICO will tell you the categories. Payment, history is 35%, debt is 30%, length of credit history is 15%, new credit inquiries 10%. That's it. That's all you get. The actual math is locked up as a trade secret. Legal researchers have pointed out the obvious problem with that. If nobody outside the company can see the formula, nobody can test it for bias either. You're being scored by something nobody's allowed to check. This is the part that actually makes my blood boil. This score isn't just for loans anymore. It's used for housing, jobs, utilities, insurance, even education. A study back in '96 found Black applicants were 3 times as likely as white applicants to have scores under 620. Hispanic applicants, twice as likely. As recently as 2021, the median score for Black consumers was 639, white consumers, 730. Almost 100 points higher. Race isn't on your credit file. Nobody types it in. But decades of redlining made it harder for entire communities to get mortgages in the first place, which is exactly the kind of history this neutral formula rewards or punishes. And that's not just credit. A 2017 ProPublica investigation found insurers in several states charging drivers in Black and Latino neighborhoods up to 30% more for the same accident risk as drivers somewhere else. In 2022, a tenant screening company called SafeRent got hit with a lawsuit claiming its algorithm, built partly on credit scores, disproportionately rejected Black and Hispanic renters, without actually predicting whether they'd pay rent on time. A formula that's supposed to be colorblind keeps landing on the same groups of people every time. A formula from 1989 that nobody's really touched since is deciding your mortgage, your apartment, your job, your insurance bill. The company running it just jacked the price up 1,500% and called it a Tuesday. And you, the person this number is actually about, don't get to see how it's made. That's not a credit system. That's a black box with your name stapled to it.